Welcome to Talking Trail. It's 6 Foot time and we're getting excited. For this year's 6 Foot special, I've got 5 runners attempting the race for the very first time. Recently relocated Ash Bartlett, my 2025 High Rocks Sydney partner Dane Briggs, trail running tradie Luke Newcombe, rock climber turned trail runner Geoff Johnston-Hall, and serotonin stalwart Kate Klein. This group covers a range of runners from Wave 1 through to Wave 6. We discuss their training, their planned strategies for race day, and why they entered the race. First, I've got a favour to ask. If you enjoy and get a benefit from our podcast and what we've been putting out, please like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends, and it'd really help us if you gave a 5-star review. Thank you. Now, a few important dates I need to remind you all. Andrea Camastri commences his long run to inclusion, running from Mount Victoria all the way to Canberra. That's on Sunday, the 8th of March. Please donate to support this if you haven't already. Spend a little bit of time with Andrea this year, and just the more time I spend with him, the more I realise what a quality individual he is and how amazing the work is that he's doing with Hotel Etico, giving jobs and life skills to young Australians. Lonely Mountain entries have kicked off again for the race in September. There's numerous race distances to get involved with. It's just such a fantastic not-for-profit local event out at Orange that we absolutely love here at Summit Gear and Talking Trail, and we've always supported it, and that will continue this year again. Lastly, the Grand Clifftop Race is on Sunday, the 12th of April. Entries have been flooding in for that. There are still entries available. So if you're thinking about it, it's a 17-kilometre race along the Grand Clifftop Walk, then absolutely jump on that and enter the race. Now to the interviews. Ash Bartlett, welcome to Talking Trail. This is your first 6 Foot that you're preparing for. Tell me a little bit about your running journey and how you got to get to the point where you wanted to enter the 6 Foot track.
Yeah, so last year I did my first ultra. I did the Guzzler when I was living in Brisbane, and I loved it. So I set my eyes on doing the Tarawera 100, which is coming up this weekend. And in the meantime, I moved to the Blue Mountains and I started running with the 440 crew. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I heard everyone's excitement about 6 Foot track and the entries were opening up. So thought I'd put my name in the ring to get involved. Everyone said it sounded like a really great event. And I think I might be biting off a bit more than I can chew with the Tarawera just a few weeks before it. But yeah, I'm just really keen to get involved considering how excited everyone was about it.
So the Guzzler, that was what distance?
That was the 50-kilometre distance.
Okay, so you're stepping up to the Tarawera 100 this time. So it's actually going to be like a step back for the 45.
Yeah, that's right. Although hopefully I can come out of Tarawera okay and be in a good position for 6 Foot so I can enjoy it.
So this was late last year that you were hearing about 6 Foot and decided to enter then?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So having Tarawera 100 coming up a few weeks before 6 Foot, has your training been mostly focused on the 100 at Tarawera, or has it been 6 Foot or a bit of both? Like, how have you managed that build up?
Yeah, Tarawera has been my main focus for sure. Although I did join the 440 crew and we had a bit of a practice trying to replicate the Black Mountain section of 6 Foot.
Oh, Black Range, yeah.
Black Range section. So I'm trying to incorporate parts. I'd like to try and get in a 6 Foot track section when I'm back from New Zealand, but we'll see how the body pulls up after Tarawera, I think.
Yeah, because normally by the time you get back, you'd just be heading into taper.
Yeah.
And do you have a planned taper strategy for 6 Foot?
I think it will really depend on how I go in Tarawera. Currently in the depths of that now and not really enjoying it. So I'd like to, get out for a couple of runs when I'm back from Tarawera before 6 Foot for sure. But yeah, we'll see how I'm feeling in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So has your training for Tarawera been such that you're planning to really go for it at Tarawera in the 100, or are you taking it easy? Like, what's your race strategy for Tarawera?
It'll be my first 100, so I think I'm going to be really proud to just get across the line, but yeah, I'd like to be as competitive as I can be. I did have a bit of a quad niggle from the end of December, so I'm aware of that, and I'm going to try and manage that. But yeah, also just try and race as hard as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that what your normal mode is when you're racing? Like you're a racer, like a competitive racer, when you put the race bib on?
Yeah, I always try to give as much as I can on the day. Yeah. So we'll see how we go. Yeah.
Excellent. Right. So with 6 Foot, obviously new to it and not having been a Blue Mountains local for very long, you haven't seen all of the course, but do you have a pacing strategy for race day for 6 Foot?
No, I wouldn't say so at the moment. I just go out easy, I think. Again, see how I'm feeling up to Tarawera, and then see how I'm feeling at the halfway point, and if I can, what the strategy should be from there, I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about fueling? What's going to be your fueling strategy for race day?
Well, for Tarawera, I'm taking Tailwind and Cliff Blocks. So we'll see how I'm feeling about Cliff Blocks after 100 kilometres and how many of those I can tolerate anymore. But yeah, that's, I guess, my usual fuel that I take with me. Yeah.
So you just think you'll just stick with that for 6 Foot then?
I think that's the plan for now. Yeah.
Right.
Might readjust again in a week or two. Yeah.
Well, you might find that doing the 100 at Tarawera, you might want to have some more real food.
Yeah.
Whereas that's not such a demand, 45 Ks of 6 Foot. What are your expectations for the day?
I think at the moment, I'd just like to get out there and have a great day and be amongst the running community and, support the RFS. Yeah, and just get to the start line strong and hopefully the finish line strong as well. Yeah.
So how long have you been running?
I ran a lot when I was younger, and then I had an IT band issue that I was struggling to get over with a few years ago, so I went over to road cycling for a couple of years, and I think I kind of strengthened everything up through that, and I've been back running for about 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have a fairly good sort of recovery and mobility program for post-race? So after you've done Tarawera, probably can't really help but be a bit stiff and sore and fatigued from doing 100 Ks of trail and mountain running. Yeah, do you have a good plan for what you're going to do in the 3 weeks between the two races?
I think I would probably take it as it comes, to be honest. Given it's my first time, I'm not really sure what to expect. So I guess we'll see what happens, but I'm definitely keen to get to the start line of 6 Foot for sure. So if that means that I'm off my feet for a bit more time in those weeks, then I guess that's going to be part of it. Yeah.
All right. Is there anything you're worried about other than, well, I mean, the obvious is having two events so close together and Tarawera being a big one of 100 kilometres. But besides that, have you got anything else that you're worried about with 6 Foot?
No, I don't think so. Everyone that I've spoken to said it's a really great event, and there's a really great team and community spirit around it. So I think it should be a really supportive and a great day out.
Excellent. So what wave did you get?
I'm in wave 3.
Okay. Yep. Nice. All right. Do you have a goal time in mind?
At the moment, no.
No?
No.
Just finish?
I think so, yeah.
I might squeeze you for your actual goal time off the record because we all have that, the A goal is to finish and have a good time, and then B is like, well, I'd like to finish under this, but I really like, which is probably the C goal is actually I'd really like to finish in this time, but you've got a lot of years to worry about, where you can take time off and get better each year. So all right. Any questions about 6 Foot for me?
What advice would you give a first timer? 6 Foot.
So what you said is good, which is take it easy to start. Don't go hell for leather. I mean, if you're in good shape like for you personally, if you're in good shape and you've had a good race over in New Zealand and your legs and your body's in good shape, then try and push a little bit to the front if you are a competitive runner for your wave. There will be people that will just go crazy and they'll all try and overtake and go a bit silly with it in the first kilometre. And so don't let that sort of bother you too much. Really, after the first 2 kilometres of just the start, and then you get to the bottom of Nellie's Glen stairs, then it's fire trail. It's a road, like a dirt road that opens up, so there's plenty of time to overtake people. But also you find everyone's been carb loading for a number of days. They've rested and tapered, so they've just got all this energy, and they've got the race bib fever. So a lot of people are just going hell for leather to get to the river as fast as possible. But yeah, I'd just say be a little within yourself and be restrained, because there's a whole lot of climbing to do after the river. And then once you finish, once you've completed Pluvi, you've topped that rise, you're still only 26 k's in, so you've almost got the same length again to run. Still got a half marathon in terms of distance on thereabouts, and it's undulating and you can pick up a lot of places there, but you can also lose a lot of places. So you want to get onto Black Range and feel that it's runnable.
Okay.
Yeah, because you'll go past a lot of people that went too hard too early.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it's just obviously more motivating to be overtaking a heap of people rather than being overtaken by a heap of people. And you will see it. You absolutely, you will see it. You'll be going past people that are cramping, that are just like burn their candles, and they're just really struggling. And you think, yeah, I should be running this. Everyone should be running this because it's flat or it's just a slight incline, and it is demoralising to you go, no, I've got to walk. So yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, just enjoy it. No doubt you'll have people around you to sort of talk to the whole way. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the finish. The finish is great. It's not what we're used to. Like, you don't come into Cave's house anymore, but they've got a really nice finish line at Binder Cabins, and in the last couple of years, as more and more people sort of crowd the path in. So it's a bit, it's just a really good, I suppose, finishing shoot. There. So yeah, it is a great atmosphere. Yeah. Since you've been here, so you've got a chance to run some of the trails around the Blue Mountains. What's your favourite trail in the Blue Mountains?
I love Marinac, starting it just before dawn. Yeah, it's got to be up there for sure.
Yeah, watch sunrise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Way to start the day.
Have you done it in reverse, like done it at night, where you run out with sunset and come back in the dark?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Yeah, on the list.
Right. Well, thanks so much for your time, and really excited to see how you go. And we'll catch up after the race and see how you went.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. So now I've got Dane Briggs. Welcome to Talking Trail.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. So another 6 foot first timer.
Yep.
Tell everyone what's been your running journey to get to the point where you wanted to enter the 6 foot track race.
So I've only been running consistently for about 3 years now, running with a group of trail runners down in the lower Blue Mountains. Just hearing their experiences on the track sort of got me interested in actually competing and doing these kinds of races. So signed up for a City to Surf to start with, and then UTA 22 last year, and then went and watched the last year's 6 foot, seeing everyone finish. You and all my friends gave me that buzz and that feeling that I wanted to do the 6 foot. So did the Glenbrook 34 to get a qualifying time for the Running a Wild, and applied for the 6 foot and got in. So
excellent.
That's where I'm at the minute.
All right. So what's your training look like, in building up for the race?
So the last few years have sort of been inconsistent, family life, and it's gotten a bit better. End of last year, after my injury, been consistently doing 60 to 70 Ks a week. So I think my long runs, I was trying to build too quickly, too many Ks too quick. So I've backed that off and I've noticed that I'm less injured and running freely. I normally do hills on a Tuesday. I've just started to creep in a Wednesday run now, and intervals on a Thursday, and then, like I said, slowly building my longer runs on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday.
And what sort of Ks are you doing on the weekend, those runs?
At the minute, I've just started creeping to like 28 to 30 kilometre range.
Okay, yeah.
So slowly building there. Whereas previously I went from 15k to a 30k run.
Oh, okay.
Injured.
Big jump. Yeah.
Injured, then back to the starting progress. Yeah.
Excellent. So we're only 4 weeks out now.
Yeah.
So have you got a taper strategy?
I was just going to back it off a little bit 2 weeks out, and then I was hoping on planning the week before to drop it down to 30 to 40 Ks, and probably won't do any sessions in those weeks. That would just be easier runs.
Okay.
Easier, maybe a hillier run instead of hill repeats. That's the plan.
All right. Do you have a pacing strategy planned for race day?
I don't have a pacing time as such. I would like to do sub 5 hours. I haven't looked at the numbers to what I would need to do that, but I know I need to back it off from the start. Even when you feel like you're going slow, I've been told to go a little bit slower to save the energy for the hills and the back end of the race.
Yeah.
Because if you fly down to the river, you'll be hurting by the time you start climbing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you start climbing straight up the river, but yeah, you got to save some juice for the Black Range.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. What about your fueling strategy? What's your plan there?
Well, before the race, I'll be smashing some pasta, barbecue sauce. Pretty plain kind of guy.
That's the night before or for breakfast?
Probably 2 days before
Right.
lunch and dinner. Not so much pasta for breakfast. And then during the race, I'll be pure gels. I find them the easiest to stomach. I'm not a big fan of the jelly ones, and I'll be trying to take in every 20 to 30 minutes one gel.
Yep.
That's my plan. Did that for my marathon last year, and it seemed to work pretty well. And a mix of the caffeinated to just the normal as well. Mix it up so that I'm not too hot on caffeine.
All right. Yeah. What are your expectations for the day?
Oh, that's a good one.
Besides sub 5.
Yeah. Just to finish would be good. Sub 5, be stoked with that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Just have fun, I guess. We do this because we like to run and we can run, so enjoy it and can't wait to hear everyone's run stories after the race.
Yeah, well, you've seen from last year what it's like at the race finish, the hub there at Binder Cabins.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to chat to people, isn't
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything that you're worried about for the race?
So at the moment, I've only ever run from Nelly's to the bridge and back, and then Megalong. I did a 15 out and back from Megalong. So I'm a bit worried about what's to come after that. I've heard after Pluvy, it's a little bit like the Oaks, where it's just like a gradual climb. It's not flat, so I'm worried about after the hills.
Just because it's unknown.
Unknown territory. Yeah.
Okay. But at least the distance is not really an unknown because you only did. When did you do the marathon?
November.
So
November last year.
Not long ago at all.
Yeah.
Right? So there's really only a few more Ks.
A few more Ks.
That, but
a lot more elevation.
A lot more elevation. Yeah. So you've already said what your goal time is. I don't want to get in your head, but I'm happy to publicly state that I reckon you could probably do a 4:30.
All right.
Or better. Yeah.
To put the pressure on now.
Yeah, no, but I've just seen the times that you're doing in the races that you've done and the training that you're putting in and the pace that you're running those training sessions. So, yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised, and I'd be delighted that if you did a sub 4:30. Yeah.
I would be too.
Any questions for me?
Yeah. So creek crossing, shoes off, or just leave them on and put over the stones in your shoes for the rest of the race.
Don't put up with the stones. Don't take your shoes off though.
Okay.
So keep your shoes and socks on. Cross the river, right? So you've got Cox's River at 15.5 k's. A lot of people will get stones and grit in their shoes from that spot because it's very sandy underneath. There are some big sort of rocks that you have to make sure you don't trip over or kick. And generally the RFS will have sort of worked out where is the cleanest channel to get across, and they'll have a rope there. So just to sort of guide you and say this is the easiest place to go across. But when you get on the other side, and actually it's on both sides, there is this gritty sand that you're going to come out onto anyway. And then you walk through the sand to get up to where the campground is. And that's where then you're on dirt and grass. They will have buckets. And last year, the RFS manning that aid station, they actually had a pump. And so they were just like hose. Like you sat down, they had a row of like 6 seats, plastic chairs. You undo your laces, take your shoe off. They just quickly hose it out, and then they'll hose off your socks as well.
Oh, okay.
And then you put them back on, then you're up.
Okay.
I mean, if you feel like you didn't really get much in, and it will just depend on your shoes, the mesh in your shoes, if there's any gaps around your ankle, like around, where your foot goes into the shoe, they can all determine how much goes into it. But I think it would be a mistake, and I've made that mistake of going, I can feel this pebble, I'll just move it sort of around into underneath my foot, and I'll just put up with it to the end. And you're just increasing the risk that you're going to get a blister. So it's much better, like if you feel, even after having it hosed off or whatever, and then you go, it's all good, and then you get to the top of Pluvy or something and you can feel, I've definitely got a stone in there or some little pebbles, just sit on the side of the track, take your shoe off, brush it out, put them back on, and then you'll be comfortable. So definitely, I don't know anyone who ever takes their shoes and socks off to cross. And you'd want that protection of the shoe anyway because of the fact that there are these rocks underneath the water. So, definitely don't try and go across barefoot. I know a lot of people will try and swim across as much as possible, but you're still going to get out and stand up in sand, at the other side.
And I know you've done this race, I don't know how many times, a few now. But what's this race mean to you to keep coming back and doing it?
So initially, similar to you, like I heard about this race, it sort of had this almost mythological aspect that was like, you hear about pluviometer and this big race, and it's like much harder than a marathon, and it's so good. There's so much history. There's like some of the trail running legends that have won it in the past. But then once I got started and kept doing it, and then obviously I was in the beer bet and still am, and I've been doing that for many years, since 2009. So nowadays 6 Foot for me is like a family reunion. Like I turn up at the start line, like, we get off the buses like nearly an hour before the start. And it's just, hey, how you going? Hey, haven't seen you. Some people I haven't seen since last year's 6 Foot, and then others that I might only see 2 or 3 events a year. And it's just a catch up. And then there's always been friendly banter and rivalry. What weight did you get? And everyone's injured, of course, on the start line. Some people are sandbagging and some people genuinely are interested. And just the race itself, like trying to still be competitive and do a really good race. As we said, like the finish line is really great. And again, more catching up and talking about how our day went, rather than you get to the finish and everyone's like their car's just in the car park and they just go and get changed and drive out, because of the nature of it where everyone's waiting for buses. So you're going to be there for a while, so you just enjoy it and just like sit amongst it, enjoy all the people, all the chats, and hear different people's stories about their day, and then and then you get on the bus and you're still having those chats for another hour or so on the way back to Katoomba. So yeah, it's just a great day out. Okay, so Dane, what's your favourite run in the Blue Mountains? Not necessarily race, could be a race or just your favourite run.
I haven't actually done too many different ones, so it's a bit tricky because I always normally stick to the same one. Do like Blue Gum Swamp.
Mhm.
That's a good one down there at Bees Nest. And I also don't mind that little section from Megalong to the Cox River, just running through the farmland into the single track past the estates and that wineries. So, yeah, those two would be that little section of the 6 foot.
Cool. All right. Well, I won't keep you any longer. So thanks a lot, Dave.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks,
Cheers.
Thomas.
Luke Newcombe, welcome to Talking Trail.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Another 6 foot track first timer.
Yeah.
So tell me about your running journey to getting to the point where you wanted to enter the 6 foot track marathon.
Yeah, so I've been running since 2022. Trail running. So I got into the sport actually from my dad. He's telling me about this race in the Blue Mountains, the UTA 100. He's pretty much describing it to me about these crazy athletes that run sometimes through the night and even like have backpacks and have to carry all their gear. And I can just remember thinking that was just so out of control and just there's no way.
So had he done it?
He hadn't done it. So he's describing it to me and through conversation, and then eventually he hit me up with the offer and said, "Hey, would you like to do this trail running race with me?" And
Awesome.
so yeah, that was my goal, was to get into trail running and to do the Ultra Trail 100.
So this was in 2022.
2022.
Only a few years ago.
4 years ago.
4 years ago now.
Yeah. So before that, we'd done City to Surf, the 14K in Sydney, and that was it. So
okay.
Yeah. So my dad dragged me into the sport.
So has your dad been doing other running events?
Like bits and pieces.
Running Wild and things like that, or what had he done in his career?
He was basically the same as me. We'd done pretty much City to Surf. He was a runner when he was younger, but it was just the lure of the challenge of the UTA 100 that he wanted to do.
Yeah,
and he basically said, "I want to do it. Would you be interested?" And so we signed up together to tackle it.
So it's handy that you don't need a qualifier, to get into UTA.
Yeah. So that's how I got into the sport.
So that was to compete in 2023 then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did UTA 22 in 2022. That was my first race.
Yeah.
And then from then on, it was just UTA 100 in 2023, and then I fell in love with the sport during that period. And haven't looked back.
And so during your training post that first UTA 22, was Dad faster or you were faster, or where were you in terms of your training?
We started off in the same sort of realm, but I think my profession and just my age, I definitely got a lot quicker than he did, and so I just kind of kept progressing with it. His goal was to complete the UTA, and I basically was like, this is my sport now. I'm going to stay in it and start broadening my horizons and looking at other races and events. And that's what I did. So that's kind of what brought me to the 6 foot track.
Right.
After UTA. So decided to get a coach and things and just wanted to keep progressing in trail running.
So how long have you had a coach?
So I've had a coach for almost 2 years.
Okay.
Not the same one. So I started with Mikey Denuantes. He was a great coach, and I did my apprenticeship with him, as you say, and that was good. But I decided to change things up and get someone a little bit more local. And since December last year, I've been with Quinton Gill at the goat farm.
Yep.
So that's been great, having coach nearby and someone so passionate about it all. He's been unreal so far. So been with Quinton since December. So about 3 months,
Right, and a local group to run with too.
Yeah, so he's been good, and his whole crew and his local knowledge has been unreal.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So in your build-up to this year's 6 foot, what's your training look like?
Yeah, so the training is about 70 Ks a week, which is a good range for me, being a dad and small business owner. That's about a pretty primo number for me as far as volume. that I can squeeze in without overdoing it. So we're doing 70 Ks a week and 2 strength sessions as well on top of the running. So really focusing on building muscle endurance under fatigue. So that's basically what our trainings look like as far as volume goes. And so a bit closer to the race now, we've been doing a bit more 6 foot specific things like getting out on course and practicing some downhills.
And obviously, you're as you said, you're a tradie. You're a landscaper.
Yeah.
So that's a very physically demanding job. So it's like you're doing strength sessions every day.
Yeah.
Pretty much, is it?
That's right.
So Quentin's sort of accommodating that and understanding of what the work has entailed for the day before he, sets you your sessions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I'd love to be doing more volume, but it probably isn't overly necessary when you do your run and then go and clock an extra 15,000 steps. Just pushing wheelbarrows around and stuff.
That's right.
At work. So yeah, I think it balances out pretty well.
Yeah, that's right. It's like you're doing extra stair sessions every day.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think that's, I suppose, you'd almost be able to compare that to someone who's got a desk job who might need to do, 100 kilometres a week or more to get the same output that you are, like physical exertion each week with your job. So.
Definitely. Yeah, being on the feet 8 hours after running in the morning, I think it helps rather than sitting around on the desk or something like that or commuting.
Fair enough. Now, speaking of recovery then, what's your taper strategy in the lead up to 6 foot?
Yeah, so 6 foot for me is actually a bit of a B race. So my goal this year and at the moment is to have a pretty solid UTA 100. So
that's your A goal race?
That's my
then?
A goal race.
Yeah.
So 6 foot is a B goal. And so that means we're not going to do like a huge taper off. So the week before 6 foot, still going to do a 2.5 hour long run, about 30 Ks. And then the week of 6 foot track, reduced sessions. So we're going to still be doing some speed turnover and unusual strength training, but everything just a little bit lighter so that we're not accumulating fatigue. But I've already got my program for 6 foot and we're still going to do about 40 Ks of running the week of 6 foot.
Okay.
Yep, and I'm pretty happy with that. I think like big tapers don't suit me overly well. I found that I get a bit sick and feel fatigued when you do like a proper 2-week taper. So I'm pretty keen just to keep the ball rolling into 6 foot with just sort of a reduced volume, reduced intensity, but it's basically a normal training week before we take off.
Okay. So actually be a big week for you then, a big normal training week then, having a race on the Saturday. There's 45 Ks.
It'll be about 90 kilometres, give or take, that week. Yeah, which is good leading into an event like the UTA or something, rather than slowing right down, race, and then you've got to recover, because it's a B race. I think it's pretty good just to...
So do you think you won't need to recover the week after 6 foot?
Definitely will.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're not gonna drop right off with volume, then do 6 foot and then drop off with recovery. So it's more or less just continue all the way through to 6 foot and then we'll drop off for recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to need it.
Oh, for sure, 100%. Yeah, I'll be taking the next 2 weeks very lightly, I'd say.
So you've done a bit of training out on course.
Yep.
So you know all of the course, or you know most of the course now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what's your pacing strategy for race day then?
Yeah, so my pacing strategy will be to take the first 15, or 16 odd Ks to the river, fairly steady but still firm without really damaging the quads on all that runnable downhill. And then after that, so yeah, I'd really like to run the back half of the course from the Cox's River. So a few weeks ago, we went out as a group with some of the experienced runners from the Blue Mountains, and we were actually able to run up all those fire road climbs I definitely wasn't running as fast as some of those guys, but we definitely settled into a rhythm where it is possible to run up those those fire roads and those climbs. So that's
So this is up Mini and then up Pluvy. Just ran the whole way.
Yeah, so it's just settling into a nice, comfortable pace. You know, trying to keep that heart rate below threshold, but still good, and just settle in, and you can really just, you might not be running that fast, but you are able to run that. So I want to make sure that the first opening kilometres is complementary to my goal to run from the Cox's River to the finish, basically.
Well, essentially, then you're saying you're going to run the whole course.
Yeah.
The whole 45Ks.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's my pacing strategy.
Yeah.
Is to make sure that I've got enough, not overdoing it so much in the first runnable downhills.
Yeah.
To have the energy and the legs to run that back up.
Okay. So when you did that training session where you guys ran all the way up Mini and up Pluvy, so that 11 Ks from the river, which includes big downhill and some flats, but did you then extend on along the Black Range and kept?
Yeah.
So where were you parked at Deviation, or where were you parked?
So we went from the Cox's River campground, all the way to Geelong Caves Road.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So it was a bit of a logistical mission. So we we dropped cars at the road, and then we drove back down to the Cox's River, and then ran from Cox's River out. It was about 28 Ks.
Okay.
Yeah. So to get a really good feel for what that back's like, because I haven't ran it, but I've only heard things before that that's where the race is.
Mm.
And it was good to get a feel for that section of the course, for sure.
So when you did that run, that training run, where you ran effectively from the Cox's River all the way to Caves Road, so that included the sort of 5K detour through the forest, the pine forest as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when you got to where your cars were parked at the Caves Road, did you feel that you still had it in you to keep running beyond that?
Yeah, definitely. So I felt like I could definitely have a bit more in the tank. And of course, you never really know, because that was my first time out there. I wasn't pushing that hard in that, but I feel like in a race scenario, I could definitely tack on those extra Ks, as long as I'm smart about it, not running out with the front pack and things too hard. And so, yeah, I think I could definitely tack on that extra start kilometres.
Okay. And so were you practicing your fueling during that run as well?
Yeah.
So what's going to be your fueling strategy for race day?
My fueling strategy will be about 105 to 110 grams of carbs per hour.
Okay.
Yep. So that'll be 2 gels and also carb in drink mix.
Yep.
Yep. And making sure I'm hitting around 750 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium as well as electrolytes. And yeah, that works for me. And I've tested that, and we tested it on the run. It's a good number. Not super high, but not like, it's a good solid amount of carbs per hour.
Yeah, so you didn't have any cramping or anything like that that day?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Are you running with a run vest then, or are you running with the waist belt?
Yeah.
Or what are you doing?
I'm going to do the Naked branded waist belt.
Yeah.
It's a bit extra volume. You can jam the gels in and a couple of flasks.
So you'll have 2 flasks then?
Yep. Yeah, so I'm hoping to have 3 flasks that are powdered, unfilled, and just fill them up as I go.
And just run with 2 with the fluid in them?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my plan.
Okay. Yeah, because it's very different now with the number of aid stations having been reduced last year and now this year. So yeah, getting your head around, okay, can we just do it with 1 bottle, or do we need to have more, or do we need to carry a vest and all that? So yeah, I'm glad that you've tackled some of that in training, and now you've sort of locked in, and this is what I'm going to do. So that's good. So have you got any expectations for the day, how the day's going to go for you?
Yeah, look, I'm expecting it to be quite an intense experience, purely because of my goal to run it all. I realised that it's actually quite a running race because of it being fire trail the whole way. I'm expecting it, to be quite difficult in that regard, because I've never actually done a race similar to it. So it will be a new experience for me to have that running race environment in a trail atmosphere. You look at the leading times, around 3 hours 20. It's a proper running race. So I think I'm expecting it to be quite hard.
So what wave did you get?
I'm a start grip 1.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, wave 1. Clearly, I imagine that you've probably talked about an expected finish time with Quentin and with the others that you've been training with.
Yep.
Do you have a goal time in mind?
I think realistically around 4 hours 15
Okay.
is a good time for me, and either side of that I'd be happy with. So yeah, but I'm actually going into the race with purely more of a personal performance goal, which is to run those hills. I know that if I can do that, that would be a run that I'll be proud of, a performance I'll be proud of, and the result will be what it is. And especially being a B race.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
It's really about gaining that confidence for the UTA. If I can run those hills, do a performance I'm proud of, that's just going to slingshot me into my A race. And I'm not gunning for a time.
Okay.
Gunning for a performance.
Yeah, fair enough too, especially as it's not your A goal race, then, and it's just another training session.
Yeah.
It's a very hard one, but
Yeah.
we forbid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a race bib, but it is just another session. So for you, you're heading to a bigger goal. So
Yeah.
I can totally get that. And I think that actually eases some pressure off you as well.
Yeah.
The fact that you say, no, but this is a training run.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's a big training run, but it's a training run.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be defined by whether I get 4:08 or 4:12 or 4:28. You know, it's just about my performance on the day, how that sets me up for UTA 100 in 2 months' time.
Yeah, definitely. And that's right. And it's I feel calm about it in the sense that as long as I can run to the capabilities that I've set for myself, then it's going to be a good day. That's my goal.
Excellent. Is there anything that you're worried about?
Yeah. So again, the nature of that track being a runnable race, how's it going to feel in the end? And I feel like it's going to be a bit of a grind, especially going up those hills. So yeah, I'm worried about just there's no real break from the terrain. Once you hit those spy road climbs, it's all go to the end. I was going to ask you about those climbs in particular and the last 28 k's of the course, because to me it seems like with the tree canopies and there's not a lot of variation in the terrain or views in that. I thought on our recce's that it might actually be quite mentally unstimulating. Just not having much of a view or anything like that. Have you found it quite hard in the end? I was wondering, do you listen to music, or are you feeding on the other athletes and that to get you through the back of the course? Because it does seem a little bit mentally unstimulating. There's nothing to kind of break you up from the task at hand.
So there's a few things. When you've got the climbs, then you just sort of focused on the climb and getting to that next summit. So whether it's mini saddle or it's getting to top of Pluvy and seeing the sort of the signage off to the side or the aid station, and then going, okay, yeah, that's another leg down, Beyond that, though, especially if you are in good shape, then, it's not about the views. Like a Black Range is not pretty. I mean, you are out in nature, so that's always cool. But it's more about, for me, is you will have people up ahead. Unless you're top 10, top 20, and I've never experienced that myself in the race, but unless you're in that sort of position where there's just daylight and you can't see the next runner in front of you, I don't expect, even at a time of sort of a 4:15 or 4:20, that you wouldn't have people just up ahead, or that there are people just behind, or that you're jostling and leapfrogging regularly. So I think that keeps you mentally stimulated. Okay, can I overtake the next person? Can I overtake those three people that were running ahead? Can I keep them in sight, and can I gain ground on them, and can I overtake them? Most of my 6 foot track races, I've never taken music. If I'm going into it relatively unfit for me, or carrying an injury or something where I think there's a good chance that I'll be struggling and walking along, then I'll have some AirPods or something like that to put in and get myself motivated with the music. And so for you, I actually would suggest not worrying. I mean, you're clearly in good shape.
Yeah.
You've had a really good training block. You're going after a goal on the day, even if it's not a goal time or a goal position. And I think you're going to do really well. And for those reasons, then I just think carrying some earbuds or something like that in your naked belt, that's another thing you got to stress about. Crossing the river, how do I keep them dry and not lose them and all of that? And is it syncing with the Bluetooth of my phone out there? So it's just more things to stress about, to be concerned about. And whereas I think it's just better as you go, I've got nothing else but me. And unless you're the type of person that really gets in your head with more negative thoughts, but I think, it's like if you've got this mantra in your head of run every step, run every damn step. I'm not going to walk. I'm just going to run every step. That alone keeps you going. Or it's like, okay, I've got to walk for a bit because I've got a stitch or whatever. I just need to walk this hill while I'm sucking down this gel. Okay, give yourself that grace to do that, especially if it's towards the back end. But then just go, okay, I'm giving myself to that tree or to that turn off, and then I'm going to go again, or to that puddle, and then I'm going to go again. And just, as I said, like you might count people off. Sometimes if I do it long enough, far, it might be from an aid session or from the top of Bluevy, or I've even done it from Cox's where I say, net, I want to overtake more people than overtake me. And so then I'll just count them. Like the Coxes might be too early, but then I think for where you're going to be in the race, you're going to be more towards the front. So you really will be just jostling position with a smaller group of people. It's not like 300 people are going to run past you, which is probably going to happen to me in a couple of weeks' time. But where you're just going to have all those people that are having a much better day, just going to keep going past. It's like, I lost count at 45. But I think for you, it's going to be a smaller number. But you might want to just do that, say, from when I start in Black Range.
Okay.
And just go, you know what? I'm just going to set a goal of having a net where I picked up places from here and not lost places. And that might be the motivation enough for you to just keep working a bit harder.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, just keep track on, not even if you say, I'm not even going to try not to let one person pass me, even if you're not moving forward, but you're not moving backwards. It's a good goal. Yes, that's great.
I did that last year. I was caught at the aid station there at Cox's River by a friend, and I'm like, see ya. She took off on me, and then I caught her along Black Range, and I overtook her. I said, "Oh, how you going?" Yeah, I'm fine. I think her shoelace had come undone or something like that. And I went, I think I'm a better runner than her. And I know it's an ego. It was a bit cheeky for me to think that way, but because I wasn't having a great day, and I didn't finish with a time to be proud of, but it was sort of true to what my training had been at that time, and what I'd done in the month beforehand. I knew I was going in really fatigued and worn down, but I sort of went, I just want to finish in front of her. Not because she's a woman or anything like that. It was just someone I knew. Someone I knew that normally on a good day I would have her measure, or we'd be about roughly the same. And I just don't want her to go up in the distance and leave me for dead. So, which in the end she did. But for a long time, we sort of leapfrogged each other. And it was just a motivation for me to run when I could easily have just gone, I'm just going to walk this hill or this incline. And it just motivated me to just keep running. So no doubt I finished probably 10 or 15 minutes faster than I would have if I hadn't have just created this competition in my own head. Because we were still chatting, we were running along chatting to each other, and then one would let the other go and whatever. So like she had no idea that I'd put a target on her back. But just for me, it was just something I was grasping at straws to keep going when I was feeling so fatigued.
That's awesome. And that's what I was wondering about, just staying engaged and things like that with that particular course.
I think that's going to work for you. That just think about the people that are around you and just go, okay, can I knock a couple more places off?
Great.
But knowing without going too crazy that you're going to have to start walking because you've just blown up big time. You still want to be within yourself because that the main goal that you've set yourself is to run the whole way.
Yeah, nice.
Not to finish in a certain position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for the advice.
No worries. Lastly, your favourite run in the Blue Mountains?
Okay, yeah. I love the Lockyer's Fire Trail in Mount Vic,
Okay.
close to home. Yeah, it's just got a bit of everything, I find. Like, it's technical, it's undulating, it's a nice long ridge line down, out and down to Hartley Vale.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like to just turn around and run straight back up it. So out and back on the Lockyer's Fire Trail. I love that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, we did that with the run club.
Yeah.
Sommicky Run Club. Well, over a year ago, probably 18 months ago now. I missed that one, but yeah, everyone said it was really good. So
Yeah,
we'll have to revisit that. Oh,
I was
okay.
there,
Yeah.
It was good. Good
We'll
crowd.
have to revisit that one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great trail. It's about 14 k's from my house, but it's got a bit of everything, I find.
All right. So we did talk about your career as a tradie and being a landscaper. So if you want to shout out your business now.
Yep. So Illuminate Landscapes, and we do landscape construction only. So if you need anything built in your garden, we do it all. So
Excellent.
thank you.
All right. So that's Illuminate.
ILL.
ILLUMINATE.
Yeah, Illuminate.
Illu-
Like light.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks a lot.
Great. Thanks, Rob.
Geoff Johnston-Hall, welcome to Talking Trail.
Yeah, thanks. No problem.
So this 6 foot track is your first?
Yeah, it'd be my first. Yeah. I tried to go in last year actually, and ended up injured last year. So,
Oh, okay. So did you get in?
I got an entry,
Right.
yeah, and then had to pull out.
Okay.
Anyway, yep. So
Fresh and fit this year though?
mostly pretty good. So a couple of little niggles, but yeah, I'll be fine for race day for sure.
Yeah, I think it's very rare to turn up at the start line and not have some niggles.
Yeah, that's right. Parts of the game, right? Really. Just, yeah.
Have you been a runner for long?
No, so I've been about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So I used to be a rock climber with lots and lots of rock climbing for many, many years, and then a few years ago I signed up for a UTA event, and then came to the dark side maybe.
Yeah, well, especially stepping into the ultra scene.
Yeah.
Anything over a marathon is referred to as the dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about your running journey to get to the point where you wanted to enter the 6 foot track.
So I'm 48. I'm not a youngster. Yeah, ran for 3 years. It's sort of interesting for me. My interest in 6 foot, like it's got a great history behind it, which I think is fantastic. Likely for Australia, I really like the history of it. But then also, it's actually got a personal connection for me. So my dad used to be a runner when I was young. So he entered in the '86 marathon.
Wow.
I was a little 8-year-old, and that was one of the years when they had the heat wave.
Mhm.
So he actually didn't finish. He ended up in hospital, and was very sick. It was almost fatal for him. He got better. He came back the next year and completed the race, which was great. But it was one of my early memories, and sort of went down into folklore for our family, like this event that he almost passed away on one of these runs. And so we've always had a sort of in the back of my mind as a kid. I've always had a bit of maybe a interest in the 6 foot track.
Okay,
Just
so
very-
86, that was when there were very few entrants, wasn't
You think 50 or 60 entrants?
Okay,
It's pretty early on. Yeah. But, it was a great event. I mean, I'm sort of a bit bummed that they don't, at the moment, they'll finish down John Cave.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone is, but
Yeah.
especially for the people that have only done it for the last couple of years, so they've never experienced that. But,
Yeah.
but you, as a child,
Yeah, it's like my memories as a kid, right?
Yeah.
I've been down to Cave's house and things, and watching all the finishes come through. Yeah.
I believe that they should get Cave's house back open and the roads later this year,
Yeah,
if
right.
not early next year. So who knows? We might have a complete 6 foot track finishing at Cave's house, out the front of Cave's house again. What's your training look like? Build up.
So I'm pretty keen. So I sort of run 6 days a week, roughly 6 to 7 days a week. I have one day as a rest day or cycle. Typically, have a Sunday as my church of the long run. They say, long run, give or take every Sunday. I have a rest day Monday. Usually do some sort of intervals on a Tuesday, and then throw in like a midweek long run commonly on like a Thursday or something like that, and then everything else is just sort of easy run. So pretty systematic.
Okay. Has that changed in your build up to 6 foot?
A little bit. I should mention actually. So I've been training with the squad run guys. So Kerry,
Okay,
yeah. So they've been providing me training plans for a while now, which has been great. So for 6 foot, it hasn't really changed too much. I've got out on course a few times, which has been great. The last obviously month or so. Did Megalong a couple of weeks ago. Mega, sorry. To Black Range this last weekend. Then the start a couple of times. So the overall structure hasn't changed too much. I've obviously tried to adapt it a little bit to the type of terrain. So bits of downhill, some long uphills, which has sort of got a bit of the grief, a little bit of tendonitis in my Achilles at the moment. It's just started to flare up, which is why I'm just easing off a little bit just at the moment. But so other than trying to be a little bit more specific, just a little specific, fairly standard.
Okay. So what's your planned taper strategy for the week or 2 weeks building leading into 6 foot?
So taper, I had planned to do it like a 2-week taper. Maybe it's my I call it a sixth long event. I've sort of found 3-week tapers are probably a bit too long for me. Maybe around 2 weeks is a bit better. So that was my plan going in, but with the little flare up in the Achilles, I've taken the 3 weeks anyway.
Okay.
So I'll start to taper down now. Already have just basically trimming off a little bit of the volume. Next week I'll probably take an extra rest day or something.
Now, do you have a pacing strategy for race day?
Yeah, not really. Apart from because obviously first time round, I don't really know what to expect. I've had a few runs on course, which has been good, but I'm really going to just be running to feel. Yeah, trying to not go too hard at the start. That's like the back end. Okay, there we go.
Right. What about your fueling for race day? Got that dialed in?
I think so. So, like I said, the sixth event now. So, fueling for me is typically gels, often like Morton or Precision gels, once every roughly half an hour.
Okay.
2 grams every half hour. Then, water, usually like a tailwind or some sort of drink mix, 500 mils every hour roughly, which seems to work pretty well. The longer the event, I'll try and I'll make a bit more. Try and eat a bit more frequently than every half an hour. Yeah, it's a bit dicey.
So a question on a lot of people's minds, given the reduction in the number of aid stations, the number of spots the AFS are supporting us, runners. Are you going to go with a running vest or are you wearing a belt?
Belt. Yeah, belt. So I can get enough. I'll take one. Plan is one water bottle, and I think we have enough gels in there. Yeah.
And just keep restocking the 500 ml flask?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
That's my rough plan. Yeah.
Right.
Find out if it works or not, you soon.
Yeah, well, I suppose that could change if we. That could change if it's a inordinately hot day.
Yeah. That's right.
We got capacity to carry more.
I could carry. If I have the running belt, I can carry two bottles if I need. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, probably that. What I would do as a backup plan.
So, what are your expectations for the day?
Yeah, good question. Look, fun day, good day out with friends, with community. It'd be nice to just enjoy the race. Really, for me, I like to sort of go into these events, just make sure I spend a little bit of time enjoying the environment. I think sometimes if you just race, you can forget about to some degree. So forget about the environment and other people around you until you get to the finish line, obviously. That's just sort of for me. It's just to enjoy it a bit, enjoy the crossing of the Cox's River.
Have you got any training buddies that are entered in the race as well?
Yeah. Lots of buddies. Kenny Hand, Mitch Perkins, Tony Black, bunch of good runners. Bunch of other runners who are they're not competing at the front of the pack.
Yeah,
but they fantastic runners as well. Fantastic people. Ben Garvin.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of people. Corinne Garvin, Steve Rutson, all sorts of people. Yeah, big local community.
Excellent. Is there anything that you're worried about on the race day?
Look, if it's a bloody hot day, a little worried, I suppose. But tackle it on the day. So So if it's going to be, Phillpott's going to be really hot, I'd throw in that spring bottle. Probably a little concerned about potential congestion on Nellies on the way down. Yeah, we go. Yeah, other than that, I think.
So what weight did you get?
Like two. Yeah,
Weight
like
two.
two.
Okay.
Yeah,
So maybe not too much congestion in Nellies, but it depends on where you are in that way.
I'm not the fastest on downhills. I often get to the a run like UTK, the Cosy one. I often get to the top of the last descent for the Cosy one, and I'm going down a reasonable pace. But you always get these much younger people who then just come flying past me. So why do you keep coming back? This is your 20th. So what do you keep?
Oh no,
coming back?
16.
Oh, 16. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, for me, it's like a family reunion.
Yeah.
I see people that I haven't seen all year, but I know I'm going to see them there. I've been participating in the 6 Foot beer bet since 2009.
Yeah.
So that's an added little bit of spice and fun for the day as well. You will see, no doubt, people with a P or a G or an S with a marker pen on the back of their leg, on their calves. So you'll know they're in the beer bet. Yeah. But yeah, it's just a great race. It's one that is very fast. So generally it's about time.
Yeah.
And you're always sort of competing against your time. And can you be better? If you know that you're not in the shape that you were, then you say, all right, well, I'd like to be in under a certain time, and then maybe maintain that weight for next year.
Yeah.
And just knowing that along the way, you're going to still bump into people that you know or you've met before, or make some new friends. Certainly trudging up Mini and trudging up Pluvi, or just staggering along the Black Range if you've had a really hard day. You might meet some new friends. Yeah. All right. Lastly, what's your favourite run in the Blue Mountains?
Yeah, that's a good question and a hard question. Probably the one I enjoy the most is probably doing Kadumba back up to back up to Lura Cascades, back around 34, 35K lift. Good, always a good UTA replicator, doing the big day out. That's probably the one that probably my favourite. Just always a big adventure.
Yeah,
it's a good gauge. It's always a good gauge too, as to tell you how you're going, are you in shape. So
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I will aim to be seeing you on race morning.
Yeah, sure.
Before the start, and best of luck with a big day out.
Excellent.
Thank you very much, Geoff. Kate Klein, welcome to Talking Trail. Thanks for being here. Another first-time 6 Foot. Can we say virgin?
You can. Let's do it. Yeah, it is my first 6 Foot race, so you can say that. And looking forward to chatting with you about it.
Excellent. All right. So, how long have you been running?
I've been running properly for about 7 years. So I think I've never been a runner, and I remember one time, even though I grew up in the Blue Mountains, I lived away for most of my 20s and came back in my 30s. And I suddenly noticed, sort of in my late 40s, that there were these squadrons of older women wearing matching sort of lycra outfits and just looking so fit and so joyful. And it was about the time of the UTA. And I just never really noticed trail running, even though I've grown up in this area. So my running journey started shortly after that, when I guess whispered quietly to my inner self that, I'd like to be a trail runner. And then I started the process of making time in my life to start running. And I had some really great friends who were runners and who encouraged me and who have got me to where I am now.
So when did you join Serotonin Run?
Ooh, I think I was Lyndall Maloney's least regular serotonin member for many years. It's probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And I have only really gotten serious probably in the last 2 years with serotonin. But I've just found being an all-female group and just a bunch of normal women of sort of all ages and capability, it's just such a supportive environment. It's quite special, and it's been a huge maker of my running, along with the Blue Mountains Marathon Clinic, the Mocha run that I do on a Wednesday, and some of my close friends that I run with as well. So it's sort of coming at me socially from a few different angles.
Okay.
Yeah, there's all these little subgroups that you discover
Yes.
as you begin. And you just realise that it is a village out there and there is this real community. There's lots of crossover. And it just ticks so many boxes for health, you know, for physical health and mental health and being out in nature and being social. I just don't know why everyone doesn't do it, Rob.
Yeah. Well, maybe because they just haven't experienced it yet.
Yeah.
So they don't know what they're missing.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
so tell me, you've been running now for a number of years. You're a trail runner, and identify as one, as trail runner. So what was it that finally got you to think about throwing your hat in the ring to contest the 6 foot track?
So I would say it was the encouragement of some of the mocker crew. I think when you hang around with, you know, people, things rub off, and the idea that it is possible to do it rubs off, especially when you've got examples around you of people who are just as female as you or even older than you, and they've been able to run these races. In my mind, the 6 foot track is such an elite race. It was always on such a high shelf for me. I just never considered that it would be something I could do. It's, in my mind, the local trail run, which makes it very special. And most of my running has been around the Blue Mountains. I haven't really spread my wings and done too many other events. And one day I just thought, well, maybe I could give it a go. And I think some of my favourite people have had a crack at the 6 foot track and have DNF'd at different times. And I think that gave me confidence that even if, you know, even if that happened, it doesn't kill you. But I thought, if I don't have a crack at this, that will kill me. Like if I don't have a go. And so I threw my hat in. I think my qualifier was Glenbrook probably about 2 years ago. And I remember I've never run so hard. I didn't enjoy it. And I thought, what am I doing having to do this to qualify for something that's even harder? But as so many runners know, you know, you sort of move through that, and that becomes part of what brings you back, is the idea that you're pushing yourself beyond your comforts. Was
it the pushing hard that you didn't enjoy about the Glenbrook? So was that the 34 or the 42?
It was the 34.
Okay.
And it was because I knew I was trying to get a qualifier. I think, again, I'd only sort of just whispered it to myself. I don't think I'd told many people that was my goal. But I knew I'd have to push it, and I really was giving it everything. Whereas mostly with my running, I just want to prance and dance and have a good time and have a lot of conversation usually. So to be really pushing it hard for that long wasn't a pleasure. And I just remember that sort of last 5Ks, it was pretty touch and go, and I was just giving it everything. And I just thought, what is this all about? But I got the qualifier, and then, of course, everything looks different once the race is ended. Yeah.
All right. So in your build-up to race day, what does your training look like?
I have really loved the training, and I think for me, I know Mark Green sort of from Street talks about the icing or the cake and which is which, and sometimes the preparation for a race can be just as satisfying as getting a good result on race day. And I've been wanting to and able to run a lot of my build-up with either some of the serotonin women or some of my other running friends or some of the Blue Mountains Marathon Clinic, the Mocker crew. So I've really loved that. I've got out onto the course as much as I can, and I've followed a steady program. And I think the key thing for me is that I've been consistent, and I've just seen a lot of improvement in my running by just showing up and doing what you need to do, doing some strength training as well. It is amazing how if you have a plan and you follow it, you get where that plan intends to get you. So I have enjoyed the build-up. I also am a keen row gainer. So I've made space in my program for regular row gains. And I think row gaining, for people that don't know, is the best sport ever, but it involves lots of very hard running for long distances. And because you're goal seeking controls, you're really unaware of the fact that you just want to run as fast as you can. The way it switches your mindset is quite unique. And because I've been integrating row gaining into my plan, because I can't help myself, I can't not do it, I think that the extra high intensity runs that I've got from that has actually filtered into my 6 foot training as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
and with your row gaining, what sort of duration?
So a classic row gain championship event is 24 hours, which is a very long time. Most row gains are sort of 6, 8, sort of 12 hours. But I've tapped into the City Summer Series, which are very short 45-minute bursts, and they're weekly. So I've just found on top of my other training, because I'm just so motivated to be there and to do those, I've effectively had some really good high-intensity training very regularly on top of the long distance and hills.
So you notice that your speed is getting faster?
I have.
Okay.
And because you measure, because these are little 45-minute events, you really see that improvement.
All right. Have you got a taper strategy?
Yeah, so I will, after this weekend, we're about 3 weeks out from the race now, I'll start to pull back and sort of lower the intensity and the duration of my run.
So no 12-hour row gains then?
No 12-hour row gains.
All right. Now, you have spent some time out on the course. Do you have a pacing strategy for race day?
Last year, I was an overthinker in terms of when I was training last year, because I didn't do the race last year, but I trained for it. And this year, I have a much more simple pacing strategy. So my goal for this run is to finish it. So I'm absolutely, as a first timer, aware that I'm starting sort of at the upper end of maybe the age category, and I haven't always been a runner. So for me, just achieving a finish is success. And I'd love to, like, a real goal for me would be a 6 hour 30 time.
Okay.
Because I feel like I would know I'd have that extra half hour up my jumper. So to achieve that, I'm looking at about an hour 50 to the Coxes, and then about an hour 50 to the top of Pluby.
Yeah.
And then just to do a really strong black range and not be cooked at the top of Pluby, and then to come in at 6 hours 30 would be fantastic. But really just getting to the end within the 7 hours, honestly, Rob, that would just be a dream come true.
Okay. All right. I'm sure that's going to happen.
Will she make it?
Will she make it? Yeah.
My curiosity is one of the driving forces at this stage. Like, even for me, will I make it? It's just a matter of doing the preparation and showing up on that start line and trying to feel like I belong, amongst that cohort on the start line, like trying to get that self-belief. And then it'll just be, let's see what happens.
Have you felt that at any other events?
No.
That, do I belong? Should I be here? What have I done?
I think in the very early stages of my running, I probably did. But the difference would have been that at those events, which were the shorter UTA runs, for example, you do have a broad church of entrants. You've got, all of these squadrons of, older women that I admired from the start. You've got people just having a crack. And the 6 foot, in my mind, because there is a qualifier and it's a hard race and the qualifiers, aren't easy, you don't get that vast body of people who are there just to complete the race. It does cut out a lot of people, and I feel as though, for me, like, although I have qualified, I've qualified twice across 2 different races, but I'm in wave 6, and yeah, I feel as though it's definitely a different cohort when you look around at the start line.
You mean people that are more focused, more trained up?
Yeah. And I think for me, I think I have to deliberately remind myself that I've earned my place at the start line by my training, because I think, I guess I sort of am representing women and older women who haven't run their whole lives. And I think that I just want to sort of validate that minimising mindset that a lot of women can have around what they're capable of. And I think for this, for this audience, I just want to acknowledge that, that those doubts are there. They're absolutely there for me. But I'm also aware that that's not useful on the day. And so, part of me getting to the end is just flipping that around and saying, I can't, I just need to put the positive mindset in there, and I just need to say, no, I do belong, I qualified. I mean, in some ways, it's by qualifying, it's, it's kind of, therefore you have earned your place on the start line, I suppose. And so that's what I'll need to do now, is just start having that, although I have doubts and I want to speak about them so that I can be relatable, because you know, I want other people to also feel that they can have a go at an iconic race like that. You know, now I'll need to just start actively avoiding speaking that. I'm going to have to start just pulling that sort of sense of strength and confidence, because that is going to be a weapon to wield, and I'm going to need the full toolkit.
Mm. So you're going to have them as mantras then, some positive affirmations, sort of mindset changes to say, no, I'm not having a negative thought, I'm going to focus on the positive.
I think I will, and I haven't finalised them yet. I borrow a lot from some other runners and some of the serotonin women that I admire so much. So I'll have to come up with a few. I might ask people to contribute some for me, and I can pull theirs out at the right time. And I think a lot of it is just awareness, just recognising, here's the negativity, here's the self-doubt, you know, hello, thank you, but you're not useful to me right now, and just pushing that out of your mind and replacing it with something positive.
I think one of the benefits of, or one of the beauties of the trail running community and trail running events is it is really supportive and positive, rather than, you know, some other sports where it's sort of like trample over the person who's fallen in front of you to get one place ahead. I think in trail running, it's very much like stop, lift them up, check
Absolutely.
they're okay, give them whatever offer, whatever they might need, and then come on, let's get this done. So I think that you experience, even with your concern about, okay, I'm in wave 6 and, you know, we're very much at the back of the pack and you're trying to avoid the sweepers. I think, you know, that there will be a cluster of people around you, and you know, I've got no doubt with the work that you've been doing that you're actually going to be ahead of the back of the pack in the sweepers. I don't think that's going to be a concern for you at all. But even the people around you are all going to be, I would imagine, are going to be really, come on, we've got this, going to get this done. And certainly from the top of Cluvy and all the Black Range, they'll be hearing that. Anyone who sort of is having a good 10 minutes and might run past you, you're like, come on, let's get this done and come with me. And I've got no doubt with such a positive, bubbly personality that you're going to be doing that as well, and maybe instrumental in getting a few other people across the line under the cutoffs. So.
Look, thank you. And you're absolutely right, because I think that underscores every trail event, is just that sense of community and positivity.
You got this. Okay, so we've sort of talked about what your expectations for the day are,
Yes.
And your goal time. And thank you for, so many people were really cagey about, you know, their goal time, and they're like, oh, I just want to finish. But really, you know, that deep down, they've got a time in mind.
Yeah.
So thanks for putting that out there.
That's okay.
And the smarts behind what that time represents in relation to the cutoffs and the sweepers. So I think, you know, that's really good that you've thought about that enough to say, well, that gives me the buffer should I need it. So that's really handy. Is there anything else about race day in particular that you're worried about?
No, I'm not. I think it's, you know, it's how much fun. Like, can I make it fun? Can I do this and enjoy it? Can I be, you know, prancing and dancing, you know, along the way? Yeah, I guess it's just the curiosity.
All right. So even though you might consider yourself a bit of a novice runner, having taken it up late, you are doing some pretty big events, and you are doing these big row games and other runs, races that you've done in the last few years at least. I expect you have a reasonable fueling strategy.
So that has changed as well. And again, I think it's easy in the early phases of a running career to overthink your fueling as well. So I feel like I've been through my gels phase, and I've been through a few different phases. So I'm into trying to keep it simple. So I've got mashed potato is my thing now, Rob. So
Okay.
I've got rather than the running flask, you can get a flask with a wider mouth. I've got that full of real food. So that's what I'll be taking. And that combined with electrolyte tablets and sort of jelly beans if I have a bit of a mental fade, and some trail brew or tailwind that has an element of caffeine in it as well, and water, and just trying to keep it simple like that. And then having a few treats at the aid station. I do love a good aid station. And so I will try and engage with whatever goodies they've got out there as well. But really, just as a add-on rather than being, try and be self-sufficient, just so that that's another mental load. That's the decision making is not there. You've already made your decisions about how you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I take it you're running with a vest.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I will be. I am aware that it's one of the few races where you need it, but I think that it will work for me to have one and to have a minimum amount of self-sufficiency.
Especially if you're carrying real food. And,
Yeah.
and a number of options there as well. So rather than just having, some people just, I've got 8 gels and that's it in my flask, So yeah, I think you'll probably enjoy the benefit of that. Yeah.
I'd like to know whether you consider the 6 Foot track marathon to be the local iconic run. You've obviously done it so many times. What's the element that makes it a great run to do even just one time?
When I first heard about it, it absolutely was the iconic Blue Mountains event, or even trail running event, because there was really only a few events. It was like Great North Walk and 6 Foot track. So this is before the North Face 100 had been invented, and before Running Wild had been created, and before all these other amazing events like Hounslow and things like that. And I think it's always held its place because it does attract some really top runners. So maybe it doesn't get the international flavour that it could, like what we see with UTA and some of the other bigger sponsored events that are in Australia. But one thing that you will notice and you'll see is it's more like a lot more like a club competition with a whole lot of, say, unconnected runners who aren't in those clubs. But so there's always, so the BWMC, the big show of force, the Sydney Striders.
Yeah.
So Sydney Striders provide a lot of the volunteer manpower for the event and have for many, many years. There's the Bathurst runners that come from Bathurst. There's the Terrigal Trotters. There's the Barara Bush Runners. And there's some of the guys from Canberra come up every year. Trevor Jacobs' squad, Gramps Army. There's Central Coast Runners. There's NRG, which is a Northside running group. So you'll see a lot of people like wearing their colours, and so there's always the mob run and those teams awards that are celebrated at the finish line. And as well as within those running squads, there's that banter and competition and rivalry, friendly rivalry to say, well, who's the best out of our group, who's going to perform. So you see that every year, and you'll see it along the track, especially like there's NRG Corner where, you just got to come around the bend and there's going to be a whole heap of people cheering and with the cowbells ringing out. And so even though they're there to support their friends, they're supporting everyone else as well. And you see a lot of that along the way and at the finish line now, even at Binder Caverns, it's like a nice finishing chute or runway, like a good sort of 150 metres of people all along the way cheering everyone. So yeah, it's just there is that almost like a tribal element to the race. So I think that keeps that competition element with this race strong year after year. I like that. One thing I like about it is everyone gathers at the end. You just sort of at the finish line. It's not like some of other events where it's just like you finish, you get your medal and you're off to a car park and away you go. Like everyone sort of gathers because you got to wait for the buses. You're sort of trapped, so it's just like, okay, I'll hang out. I'll just keep waiting to see people coming in.
Yeah.
I'll get some food. They've got the food trucks there. And you've got the bus ride. You've got an hour to get back to Katoomba. So you're still reliving the day with old friends and new friends.
Yeah. I guess it is that remote element, isn't it, that forces you in a way to connect afterwards more so than you necessarily would in other events.
Yeah, because it's not finishing in a town or city.
Yep.
You don't tend to get as many spectators coming along. So there's only the real diehards that are going to make the drive out to the finish line or to along the way. So I think the interactions and camaraderie of the runners stays that extra bit longer
It's a bit pure.
because they're not all going off to families like that. Yeah. So that's what makes it special. Yeah.
Rob, I've got one more question for you.
Mm.
We talked about mantras before and how important they are just to get you up a big hill, for example. What mantra have you got for me to use on the day? What's a good mantra that works for you?
So pushing up a hill, I use stride with purpose.
Stride with purpose.
Yeah, I know some people like to use Kilian Jornet's relentless forward motion, but I think stride with purpose is more useful because it's just saying the pace that I'm going, even if I'm in a chat with someone who seems to be going along at the same pace, it's too easy to end up just walking rather than like power hiking.
Yeah.
And so if you just keep saying stride with purpose, just keep reminding yourself you should be doing that. And what I now have, my new mantra that I've sort of learned since I started doing milers was, and having a few really low moments, is negative thoughts means underfueled. So when I start to really feel like, I don't have the energy for this, I'm just, start thinking, gee, that truck, the fire truck looks really good right now, I don't have to run all the way to the finish. Having that mindset of like, okay, I'm having negative thoughts now, like the niggles, the pain, the cramps starting to get to me. It just means that I'm feeling negative. I need to get some fuel in. So it's like some gel, some jelly lollies, some snakes or whatever at the next aid station. If I create that mindset, whether it's true or not, it's telling me to refuel. And if I can keep the fueling up, I can keep the energy up, then I know it's good, and this too shall pass. Means that like 15 minutes after I've downed a gel, I'm going to feel like running again because I've now got this extra burst of energy. So,
And you can do anything for 15 minutes. That's
absolutely, yeah.
You can do anything for 15 minutes.
Yeah, see, if you get inundated with mantras, you know how some people will write a mantra on their arm, you'll have a full sleeve or two, won't you?
I will. I will.
The messages to like convince yourself.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that. I'll do that. Very good.
Well, thank you very much, Kate. This has been delightful.
You are very, very welcome. I'm thrilled to have been asked to chat, and it's just a wonderful community. And thank you and Summit Gear for being the pillar in the middle of the community.